So we're going to first talk about faith in dating and relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, so uh, well, let's first start with faith. Uh, that's the first vocation that we all have, even the priest and sisters. The first vocation we all have is to become holy. Uh, yeah, it's really important to become holy because otherwise you won't get into heaven. uh, for to become holy, we all have our our own discerning. Like for Moeder Letizia Day, it was sister. Uh, for the padres, it was to become priest. And we figured out on our own that it was marriage. Uh, we both knew before we started dating that's most preferably that's most uh, yeah
Yeah, prefer to know before you date what your vocation is. If you have the time to find out before starting dating as much as you can.
it still can do if it happens during it's not a problem, but it's really for me it was handy to know beforehand because then I could put all my attention to getting to know Rowy, to see how marriage to eventually see how marriage, what it means, and how we can fulfill it, and and so on. uh, well, before to get to know that, I had a couple of things that helped. For me, it's really helped with spiritual direction, what is also a tool that you can use here. Um, I had a local priest in my parish that helped me with it. He helped me go through before I started the relationship to see what my vocation was, and that it was marriage. He helped me to also go to retreats, which helped there, uh, especially about, for instance, theology of the body or other retreats. Um, and also with prayer life to really pray for your vocation, but also to pray for your future spouse. Uh, what was important that he also learned me there was God's will and God's timing. We can eventually know, okay, I am meant to be married, but if I don't have seen my future spouse, I yeah, it
Have
is
to
a
wait.
I have to wait, and it can be sometimes for me it was a little bit shorter because when I was ready to receive this, I met Rowy and we started pretty soon dating. But for Rowy, it took a bit longer, uh, and she just has to wait for God's timing.
So
So
I'm older. I'm 4.5 years older than Koen. So I actually had to wait longer.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and I was gonna get my notes in my hands for a second because we don't have a table anymore. Um, but before you even get the faith, is most important to have a good faith base and know your connection with God. Because even if you're dating, it can be that the one you're dating is not the person. So you still need to keep that always in mind. But it's good to prep yourself even before dating. If you know your vocation, but even if you don't know it, it's of course growing. And that's I also had a spiritual director. But for example, we also did things like I did Magnificat 19 and Koen did Exodus 19, and that's not focused on relationship, but making yourself stronger in faith, learn how to fast, and work on communication and friendships. And the fasting, for example, is very important in a relationship because sometimes, especially if you're married and if you will receive children, it's important to know how to fast because you need to give up things that you like yourself for the best of the other or for the best of your children, because then it's not just about you but about the family. And it's good to practice those kind of things, communication, fasting, faith, before you even date. If you're not dating, if you're already dating, please also keep growing in those things because you always need to work on things. Just go to talks and workshops like this, so you're good. Like I went to a bunch of talks when I went to the youth days when I was younger, and they all had married couples with children, and like one of those things there I learned was like this couple said, yeah, we didn't have a bunch of money, but we wanted to marry, so they did a very simple wedding. So we have a potluck thing, and I was very grown up with this perfect wedding image, but then realizing, wait, you don't have to be like society expects you, it's more about the faith and your Catholic marriage, then things you can learn from talks and workshops and weekends. And then my spiritual directions, at one point we knew my vocation would be marriage, and I already dated 2 guys, but they weren't it. And then he gave me a job to do, or like homework. He said, okay, I want you to make a list of must and likes. So what does the guy really must have, and what things you would like him to have? So what are good qualities? And for me, that was like, I want the guy to have a good connection with his family. I would like him to must be healthy. And healthy, I don't mean like athletically healthy, but no smoking, not a lot of drinking, no drugs. So if a guy's addicted to something, or a girl, please know it's both ways, he can't take care of himself. So how on earth can he take care of me or my children if he prefers things that aren't that good in life? So I made a whole list, and the likes were like, I like to dance, I like to walk, but those things the guy doesn't need to have to be the perfect man for me. And so I went to my spiritual director, so this is my list: the faith, communications, health, etc. He's like, well, that's good qualities. And now you have to make sure you do it yourself as well. I was like, okay, that's funny. Okay, I didn't thought that on hand, but it was actually true, because if I have expectation of my future spouse, but I don't live up to them myself, it's not fair. And also what the list made me do, because I already had the tip via a sister, is to first look at the qualities in persons. If you have friends from the other sex, look what are good qualities in those people, and not look at the perfect person, but because if you know what qualities you think are important, it's way easier when you start dating, okay, this is a good person, or maybe this person isn't for me. When you're further in a relationship, we did this question list, and we did 2-3 questions at a time. The question list is then on the handout, and it's a bit further. It's not for your first dating, because then it feels like an interrogation, and you will not be very honest in the beginning of your relation. Well, you'll be honest, but not very open. Maybe that's better to say. Like, how long are you in a relationship? Often be more open, and those kind of questions. Even some were like, oh, never thought about to ask you this, but it was good to talk about it, because it was a good basis for our engagement, and then also for marriage, because you learn communication. And we did engagement preparation. So we did also marriage preparations. Ask Father Esco, he's in charge of that. So you can tell him if he did a good job or not. But engagement preparation, we asked another priest to help us out a bit, like, okay, what is this marriage thing about? Because when you get engaged, all those other things come as well. You need to find a house to live. You need to sort out probably your wedding day. Everyone will ask you about your wedding day. No one asks, well, about your marriage preparation, pretty much, how that is going. So it's good, for at least for me, it was good to say, okay, let's focus on that. And we meet up like once a month with this priest for about 5 months, and at that point we got engaged. But it was helping us to, like, okay, what is marriage, Catholic marriage, really about? So then the relationship go deeper and deeper, and a part of that is communication, and Koen will say some more about that.
Yeah, so with communication, it's the first thing I'm gonna talk about is listen and talk. Most preferably face to face. So for the dating, when Rowy and when I started liking Rowy, I really I already got taught. If you want to ask somebody out, don't be fake about it. Just ask it really. Do you want to go on a date with me? Yeah, it's also one of the things on the handout. Clarity is key. If it's not clear, then it's can be fake, and you don't know or the other one don't know what you mean, or what you're implying to. So it's really important to be clear about it, and to listen and talk face to face. It also for us, it was also very important in the beginning of our relationship to do it. Well, we couldn't do it face to face, but we had agreed, okay, we can app together, but we do want to talk on the phone twice a week by calling. Because to really talk to each other, it just helps to when you express your emotions, or how just the things, or just the way how you say it, it really helps to.
It's a honor. Yeah, great.
It really helps for the other one to see what is your mood, and how you what you're applying to. So for us, it was really important. Even if it is difficult, for us it was also a little bit difficult in the beginning because Rowy had an internship in Belgium. I was working in Den Helder up north, and so during the week we had no time together, and we only had a couple, like a few hours where we can call each other.
Yeah, our
And
work
then
schedules were, I would work somewhere from 6:30, and in the end, we only would be able to call after 9:30 in the evening, because one of us was working at those times in between.
So it was difficult, but we managed. We managed, and it was really helping us to evolve in our relationship by during even when I'm away with work, we still can fall back on it to call each other twice a week and to have the conversation together instead of no communication. What for us it was also important, but for my brother when he was dating, it was more important to know your next know the next time you meet each other, uh, to uh, to help to see what was happening. My brother had a relationship with Lourdes. She was in Spain, and he was still here, but they had a long distance relationship, and they could only see each other about once a month. But when it wasn't always that clear. So they had the rule: okay, before we separate from each other, we want to know the next time we see each other. Uh, why it's so important? Because then you have something to look forward to, and you to hold on to. So, like, okay, we have this date in the future where we can see each other. For us, it was a little bit
Easier.
yeah, it was easier, but still we had okay. Then we see each other in the weekend, and if we see each other, we already discussed the next time we're gonna see each other, to just know, to just see what, when you see each other. Uh, and if we see each other in the weekend, we also try to see each other in different settings. Uh, like for instance, I brought Rowy back to my family. She brought me to her family, also to the friends. And what is really important about that is to see how the other one reacts to in the different settings. Uh, yeah, for instance, if I'm a way other person to my friends, Rowy already knows it before we go further in our relationship, and has and is pretty shocked about it when we get married. So the different settings for that is really important. Uh, and what also what I already printed in my head was I'm not the professional help Rowy maybe needs. Uh, to so uh, Rowy, Rowy one time struggled a little bit mentally with some things, and I wasn't. Uh,
Well, yeah, he wasn't like, it's in a relationship, you're not the other one's professional help. Like, you can try to help and love the other one, but you're not the fixer of someone's problems. You can support the person, that's for sure, but sometimes someone needs help. So always if you're in a relationship, try to balance healthy. Okay, if someone's struggling too much with some kind of topic, maybe help them to a professional or to a priest or a sister to get a bit further, and don't try to fix it yourself, because that would put way too much weight on the other person. And then it's the same when you get married, you have to balance some stuff.
so during this time, she was struggling with it, and I knew okay, I can help her, guide her to the professional help she needed, but I'm not the help she's expecting, or well, she needs right now to help her over it. Otherwise, I would just stand in the way to really help her thereby. Uh, and during for communication also, what we used was podcasts and books. So we had it also on the handout. One book we both read, and then we discussed it later. what really helped to evolve in our relationship. But what also really helped was the Ask Christopher West podcast. Yeah, nowadays it's pretty physical, and yeah, we don't know what is good or bad. And in the Ask Christopher West podcast, they go it goes about theology of the body, and they just go with people sending questions, and they just answer it like how TOB says it is, of how TOB says it is, and also their perspective on it and how to help you further with it. Uh, like for instance, what about if the other one looks at pornography, and yeah, how can I help him, or how can we yeah, discuss this? Uh, yeah, during our relationship, it also really helped because yeah, I'm not I'm also a man and I have fallen for sin. So for me, it was also a thing to discuss, and when we listened to it, it really helped to yeah, to discuss it and to get uh, yeah, together over the subject.
Yeah. So I'm gonna talk a bit more about the physical thing. Did he mention the dating thing now or not? Asking out on a date. Did he just talk about it? Okay, good. Well, we tell that after the questions. You can ask that question later. Good. I was like, I lost it a bit. So I'm going to talk about physical contact. And the first thing I want to say, physical contact is made very beautiful by God, and for very good reasons. Because sometimes in the current world, it's very confusing with physical contact. Is it good or not? Well, in theory, yeah, physical contact is very made beautiful, but things in the right phase on the right moment. And the first thing I want to say about that in dating and in relationship is, what is your mentality about physical contact? Because that's the most important thing. You have it's kind of Christian, but also maybe more worldly. It's the thing is, how far is too far? So, okay, you know there's a boundary, and then you're going to try to reach to that boundary and then try not to cross it, apparently. That is not a very Catholic attitude toward it. The better thing to is not to see how far is too far, but what is in the best interest of the other person. It has a way different mentality, but that really fits what we're asked to be. We all asked to become holy, and if you also know the other person I am dating or in a relationship with, I want that person to become holy. So what is in the best interest of the other person will definitely be way easier to find out what is good to do or what is actually good to not do or wait. And one of the examples we want to give is kissing. So we dated a bit and we got into a relationship, and then we were about 3 weeks into a relationship when this topic came up because we didn't kiss yet at that point. And then Koen said, yeah, I know people and they are planning to not kiss the whole first year. And I was like, no, I don't agree with that. I think I come from a not very Catholic background, so I was raised slightly different, and I was like, the whole year, no kissing. So we agreed on 3 months. I was like, I can live with 3 months, no kissing. And then we said, okay, we're going to discuss it at the end of the 3 months. And then we kind of find out, actually, at that point, it was better in a relationship to say, okay, the next 3 months, we're also not going to kiss. Because we're still working on communication and to interact. And then another 3 months and another 3 months, and then we were engaged. And we kind of figured out, okay, with engagement, for us, it would be okay to kiss. But then also, the kissing during our engagement is limited compared to when you kiss when you're married. Like, you know, it's in phases. And it's a very good thing because we started to discuss this topic already quite early in the relationship. It helps because you need to talk about physical communication in your relationship and in your marriage. For example, we also had a point that we had some situations we did very long hugging, and then we kind of like we were we were in a relationship at that point, and we're like, this is actually not helping us. This is not helping us further in good communication and knowing each other. So we decided, okay, we're just going to stop with this. Because it wasn't morally wrong, it wasn't objectively a wrong thing to do, but we were like, this is not helping us further as persons. So we decided, okay, take a step back with it. And with that, it's very important to realize you have different yeses in your relationship. So you say yes on dating, then you say yes to the relationship, then you say yes on your engagement. But the final yes is at the altar. So till 2 minutes before you say yes at the altar, I would do it a bit earlier if you can. But you still can say no. And that's very important to realize when you're in a relationship. Like I mentioned as well in the last round, we have a friend and she was engaged already for, well, more than halfway to the engagement till wedding day, and she broke off her relationship. And that wasn't fun. But she knew God is not calling me to marry this man. And now she married another man last year and they have their first little child. So it was a good decision, but it was a rough one. But realize in every single moment of a relationship you can break off. I did it 2 other guys before Koen. And the first guy, he was Catholic in name, but in practice he went for the line, how far is too far? And he pushed the line a bit every single time. And at one point I was like, okay, this is getting too far. This is not good. So I broke off that dating relationship. It was about 3 months. I was like, this isn't good. And then I was, sorry, but my trust in guys, sorry, just dropped on the floor. Because I was like, okay, just want to use you. And I was like, then I dated the second guy and I already knew this guy. I knew him from a Catholic group. He was a bit in the friends group. I knew he was a good guy and he asked me on a date. But I wasn't in love with that guy at that point. But I was like, he's a good Catholic guy, so I'm just going to go on a date with him. And we dated also for about 3 months. And he never crossed the line, ever. He was very good. And that gave me hope. It's like, wait, you can have the good mentality in dating and respect each other. And then because of that, we were really able to find out this isn't it. This isn't what God meant for us. And then I was very happy. A few months after that we broke up, he met his future wife. So that went really well. And that is okay to do.